From John Bones Jones and his splendid footwork to Alex Perez's insanely high kicks, here are 8 of the UFC's best leg kickers. Starting off with the main man himself, Jon Jones. Now this guy, he's got a natural ability to hit his opponents from a distance, so they can't do much to defend themselves. He's also a mauler because he'll take advantage of his opponent in any way he can, until they can't fight back. He kicks with his legs and has made a leg kick called the oblique kick famous. One of the reasons why Jon Jones is such a lethal kicker is his reach. He's able to keep his opponents at bay with his long legs and throw kicks from a distance that most fighters don't see coming. This means that he can land powerful kicks without putting himself in danger of getting hit back. But it's not just about his reach, or even range for that matter. It's about how he uses it. See, Jones is a master at controlling the distance between himself and his opponent. He knows exactly when to step in, as well as how to throw a kick and when to step back and avoid a counterattack. This allows him to land kicks with devastating power while minimizing the risk of getting hit. If you want to see how good he is at leg kicks, watch his fight against Thiago Santos. It didn't turn out so well for Santos, who tore his ACL, PCL, MCL, and knee. Speaking of hard-swinging leg kickers, here's another impressive one. Edson Barboza. Known for his hard-swinging leg kicks, Barboza's also one of the most highly skilled strikers in the UFC. His speed and ability to end combos with leg kicks make him a scary opponent for anyone in his class. But it's not just about the power and technique of his kicks. It's about how he uses them strategically. Edson Barboza is a master at setting up his kicks and landing them at the perfect moment. He's able to read his opponent's movements and find openings to attack with his legs. This makes it difficult for his opponents to anticipate his strikes and defend against them. Edson also won 2 fights with leg kicks that ended the fight right away. One of those was against Rafaelo Oliveira. The fight was stopped, thankfully, when Oliveira could no longer use his left leg. Being strategic at kicks is one thing, but having experience with other sports, that's even more useful than being a good kicker like this next one. Jose Aldo. Now this guy used to play soccer before he even got into MMA. He claims that his soccer skills helped him a lot, and was able to develop some of the quickest and most powerful leg kicks in the sport today. Now, Aldo's also known for his versatility. He's not only able to throw kicks from all angles and in all directions, but also from a distance or up close. And he's just as comfortable throwing them off his lead leg or his back leg. This makes it difficult for his opponents to predict what he's going to do next, and it gives him a significant advantage in the fight. In his WEC fight against Uriah Faber, Aldo hit Faber with 31 leg kicks. Faber's leg turned purple as a result, and Aldo won the fight by a majority decision. Since then, people often think of Aldo when they hear the words violent leg kicks. Yikes. It looks like playing 2 different sports in your life is something great kickers have in common. I mean, hello, does no one remember Pat Barry? Best known as the fiancé of UFC women's strawweight champion Rose Namajunas. Pat also had a career in the UFC and in K1 kickboxing. Before he transitioned to MMA, he was a highly successful kickboxer and brought many of the techniques he learned in that discipline to the octagon. His kicks are a testament to his years of experience and training in the striking arts. Pat's a short, stocky heavyweight who used to lean into powerful leg kicks. In his official MMA and kickboxing career, he's won 4 times with a leg kick TKO. Pat's proof that having a career in 2 different sports definitely gives you an advantage. But other times, even fresh and upcoming fighters can impress, like this next one, Alex Perez. See, Alex Perez is a fresh UFC flyweight fighter who's known for his powerful leg kicks. Anyone at 125 pounds would have a hard time fighting the 24-6 flyweight because he's good at wrestling and has some of the best leg kicks in the game. Perez has a particular affinity for high kicks, which he throws with speed and precision. He's able to throw them with a lot of snap, which means he can catch his opponents off guard and do significant damage. In fact, he's scored several knockouts with his high kicks in the UFC. One thing that sets Perez apart is his ability to throw a variety of kicks from different angles. He's able to throw kicks with his lead leg or his back leg, and he's just as comfortable throwing them to the body or the head. This makes it difficult for his opponents to anticipate his strikes, and gives him a significant advantage in the fight. At UFC 250, Perez put an end to Jussier Formiga's fight with a TKO. He did this with a lot of help from his leg kicks. During that fight, he also won the performance of the night, which makes perfect sense. Of course, he's not the only fighter who's incredibly strategic with his kicks. Just take Justin Gaethje for instance. He ends fights by either knocking someone out or pulling them into deep water where the weight drowns them. His leg kicks are one of his most useful moves. Gaethje's hips are very flexible. That lets him throw hard kicks from close up. It's one of the best ways for him to break his opponent's will, and makes him one heck of a fighter. Speaking of, sure, there are many good fighters, but few are considered as good as this next one. Georges St-Pierre. GSP is probably the best fighter who's ever lived. He added so much skill and knowledge to the game that no other fighter could keep up. Known for putting together moves that are hard to stop and work well, George is able to set up his kicks with his strikes, and he's just as comfortable taking the fight to the ground and using his grappling skills. His ability to seamlessly move between different skills sets him apart as a well-rounded fighter. The Superman jab into an outside leg kick is one of his best moves, and you can see it almost every time he fights. It was an important part of his toolbox and made him almost impossible to stop. He's proof that good fighters are fun to watch, yes, but the ones that play against all odds are really interesting. Like Forrest Griffin. Sure, he knew he couldn't beat Shogun Rua, who at the time he joined the UFC was the scariest light heavyweight in the world. But Forrest told himself that he'd be the thing that Rua broke against. And that's what made him one of the most entertaining fighters in UFC history. See, Forrest was always willing to engage in fighting and often wild brawls, and his willingness to put it all on the line made him a fan favorite. After all, who doesn't love a wild fighter? His kicking abilities were just one part of what made him such a beloved figure in the sport. He was a fighter who never gave up and would do anything to beat his opponent, much like everyone else on this list. Having said that, that's all for the 8 best leg kickers the UFC has ever seen.